The Wolverines going to State College, and we've talked about their struggles on the road against ranked teams. Just 2 wins under Jim Harbaugh in those scenarios. And Penn State on a 4th and 6 early on goes to the fake punt. Jordan Stout, Curtis Jacobs would lead to a field goal, make it 3-0 Nittany Lions. Fake punt work. Why not try a fake field goal?
Don't get greedy.
Well, that's why.
That's what happened.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Second quarter, James Franklin, his team still on top 3-0, but not for long. Cade McNamara to Roman Wilson for the touchdown. Wilson playing with a cast and wouldn't have known it from his performance. He was tremendous. Wilson again. This is a guy who had 1 career touchdown coming in. He had 2 on this day. Wolverines up by 8. Aiden Hutchinson basically unblockable, Josh.
No, they could not block him, nor could they block his buddy David Ojabo on the other side.
Now, those guys are really something. So 14-6, Michigan in the 4th on a 4th and 4. It is Clifford to Jahan Dotson for 5. So that's a first down. Now on a 4th and 2, it's Clifford to Jahan Dotson again, this time for 15 and another first down. 205 passing yards for Clifford. Now 4th and goal, Tyler Warren. So Penn State within 2. They go for 2, and who do you look for?
Jahan Dotson.
Oh, good.
Where's number 5?
Ties it at 14. Now on a 3rd and 11, McNamara sacked. He fumbles. Derek Tangelo recovers for Penn State, but Nittany Lions only able to get 3 points out of that. So now Michigan could win it with a touchdown, and Eric All is gone.
Yes, he is. Then to finish at the end, the effort. Get it in there.
First career TD for the big tight end. What happens here, Joshua?
A little mesh route. You get guys knocked off. That's exactly why you run the crossers. You hope to catch them on on-body coverage and let the big man do the rest.
So Penn State, one last chance, needing a touchdown here on a 4th and 2. Clifford overthrows Cam Sullivan-Brown, and the Wolverines can celebrate. 21-17 is the final as Michigan gets the win. Here's Brian Tripp with the victors.
Eric, your offense in the passing game had to deliver late, and you score the winning touchdown. What did it feel like to get to the end zone?
Felt amazing. I just turned around and didn't see anybody there. I just was running as fast as I can. It was just crazy. It's a crazy experience.
What does this win say about the heart of your football team?
I feel like after this game, we're gonna have this momentum, and we're just gonna keep thriving and bring that to each and next game. So yeah.
What's the ceiling for your football team as you keep your postseason and national championship dreams alive?
Just every day we're just gonna work hard and just keep working. We're not gonna become complacent. That's gonna be the main thing. We're all gonna know like we're gonna have to work for these next few games and get out there and beat Ohio and Maryland.
This team doesn't flinch. We talked about that. I mean, they don't even bat an eye when stuff happens. You can see it in our defense when turnover occurred and they got the ball at the 16-yard line. They just went out there and held them again in the red zone, which was really good all day for our defense. Stopped them 3 times in the red zone. Twice they got field goals. Once they faked and once they missed a field goal. So, again, I think that red zone defense was big, made a huge – and the offense was really good in the red zone too. How about those Wolverines? If that's not grit, I don't know what is.
They're a hell of a team, and this crowd is something else. I'm glad we pulled it out. I'm so proud of our guys for doing this. We're going to enjoy this one.
Your teammate just ran by and said you're the best in the nation. How were you able to get quarterback pressure consistently today?
Yeah, man, I was just getting after the quarterback. A lot of hard work has gone into this. I'm just proud of our whole D-line for getting after it.
Go celebrate.
Thank you.
You heard Jim Harbaugh talking about the red zone, Howard. If you take it a little beyond that, 10 yards beyond that, in fact, Penn State was inside the Michigan 30 on 6 different occasions. They came away with 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and when we were watching the game, it kind of felt like if they didn't score touchdowns, this Michigan team, from an offensive standpoint, was going to start to click, and they needed to be able to take advantage of that. But when you look at Penn State's offense, at least from my perspective, they did a poor job of protecting the quarterback in critical situations where he probably would have had an opportunity to throw the ball vertically down the field, not picking up that pass protection. And I know they're good, but there were some opportunities that didn't look very good. And I know when they look at this film tonight or tomorrow, they're not going to be happy with the effort.
This was really a difficult game for Michigan. I mean, I felt like the emotions and the crowd was really going to be impactful. The most impressive thing is the last time the offense was on the field, they scored, and they had to score to win the game. The last time the defense was on the field, they had to hold Penn State to win the game. And that's a team moment, and you're in those situations not very often, but it couldn't have been any more difficult for those 2 units to do what they did in State College tonight.
I agree with that. And Jim Harbaugh says that his team doesn't flinch, and that's a big difference. And if you're Michigan, you look at this game and you kind of left the door open for Penn State, and it's something that they've done in games so far this year, but they've been able to close that door again and finish the games, get the win. Now, you don't let the teams back in, but as you look at it for Michigan, you felt like they were pretty much in control. You made the comment that if Penn State didn't score touchdowns, you didn't think they'd be able to win the game. That speaks to the control. Now it's just about being dominant from start to finish, and it's something I think Michigan can do because they're the most complete team in the conference right now.
But I'm with you, Jerry. I mean, serious adversity, right? You felt like you were in control of the game. Penn State comes down. They score. They convert a bunch of 4th downs on the drive. They get the 2-point conversion, and the response was just phenomenal. And then the response after the fumble, after the sudden change in the red zone, just remarkable how well they played under adversity.
No doubt.
You know, one of the things that's really interesting as you start to really follow this team and their offensive side is that it's a different person as far as the receiver's concerned each and every week. There's going to come a time where they're going to put this whole thing together, and it'll be Anthony, it'll be Wilson, it'll be all. They're going to all be able to make plays, and then you couple that with them being able to run the ball, and now you're looking at what could possibly be a very explosive offense.
I mentioned just their 3rd win on the road against AP-ranked teams under Jim Harbaugh. And think about this. I mean, his predecessors, Rich Rodriguez, Brady Hoke, they didn't win any of those games on the road against ranked teams. So starting to get it going a little bit. Meanwhile, for Penn State, 9 straight losses now against AP top 10 teams. Here's what James Franklin had to say after the game.
The margin of error is really small. Obviously, we're playing a bunch of really good teams, especially on this side of the conference. I'd make the call again, but obviously it wasn't successful. We were going to call the game today in an aggressive way to give us the best chance to win the game. We got to find ways to execute, and we got to do a better job coaching.
As for Ohio State, the Buckeyes hosting Jeff Brom and Purdue, been giant killers, of course, this year, trying to pull off another huge win. Aiden O'Connell and company facing Garrett Wilson back in action after missing last week. And Wilson, I would say he made his presence felt in this game.
Sure did.
Yeah. He makes so many plays.
10 receptions, 126 yards, and 3 touchdowns for him through the air. Aiden O'Connell to Jackson Anthrop to tie it up at 7. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, this is the 3rd guy that you mentioned for Ohio State. Or at least the 3rd guy you mentioned at the beginning of the year after Olave and Wilson. Just amazing the weapons they've got. 49 yards there. Travion Henderson takes it in for the touchdown, 1 of 2 on the day for him. Buckeyes on top, 14-7. Purdue brought in Jack Plummer for 1 play, and it didn't go well.
Not at all.
It's a bad idea. Don't give it to the other team.
Here's Henderson again. Got some wheels, fellas.
Kind of like Joshua used to run.
Yep, exactly like
back in the day.
Yes, back in the day.
Many days.
Many days.
Henderson, 98 rushing yards. So you see the frustration from Plummer. Then it's Stroud to Smith and Jigba. Ohio State scored touchdowns on its first 6 drives of the game. Buckeyes on top, 28-7. But Stroud to Wilson again. What a catch.
Put it in his vicinity. I don't think there are many groups, wide receiver groups, that do a better job of going up for the quote-unquote 50-50 ball. It's more like an 80-20 when you're playing now. 5
touchdown passes for Stroud. O'Connell had 4. Brock Thompson, the Marshall transfer there, makes it 35-14. And then it's Wilson. We mentioned 3 receiving touchdowns. How about one on the jet sweep as well?
Now, if I could be critical,
please,
I would say that his ball security probably wasn't where you wanted to be on that run right there.
Let it go.
I'm just saying.
Stroud, 3rd conference game with 5 or more touchdown passes. That ties Dwayne Haskins' school record. That's a career record, and he's done it in 1 year. Buckeyes on top 52-17. O'Connell completed 40 passes in this game, 2nd such game this year, the first player in Big Ten history to have 2 in a season. Boilermakers trying to hang around here, but just too much. Ohio State, Stroud to Olave, 59-31. Megan McEwen got the post-game reaction.
Garrett, 4 touchdowns for you total. What was the defense showing you that allowed you to have so much success early on?
I was just doing my job all night. So, we get certain looks and there's certain, ways to beat that. So, happened to be my name being called tonight, and I just do my job.
Your quarterback, C.J. Stroud, found you with ease. How much confidence does it give your game when he's in such a good rhythm?
Yeah, C.J.'s always like that. So he's super detailed, super focused, and he practices the way he plays. So, this is what we expect out of C.J., and I'm glad he got to show the world how special he is tonight.
Your offense put up 59 points. What kind of statement does that make?
Yeah, this is what we want to do every week, plan on doing every week. So when we don't do it, we feel like we didn't play to our full potential. So to get back out here and, get started running, start fast, felt good.
What was different about your approach to today?
I don't feel like anything was different. I kind of approach every game like it's a big game and try to get on the film as early as I can and try to really find tendencies and things of that sort to make my game kind of be easier and quicker out there on the field. So this week, I don't know why you noticed it kind of different, but I think that's a positive more than a negative. So.
Your offense put up 59 points. How much confidence does that give you as a quarterback?
It gives me a lot. We're going to have to put up points for these next couple games, and when our defense is playing well, I feel like that just makes the game a little bit more relaxing in a sense. So we just going to keep going, man, one game at a time and stay focused.
Auto Owners Insurance game leaders, these quarterbacks were tearing it up. You look at the numbers for both Stroud and Aiden O'Connell. Neither one threw an interception, and both completing in the neighborhood of 80% of their throws. 624 yards of offense for Ohio State. They averaged 9 yards per play. Their 24th straight conference home win as they extend the longest streak in Big Ten history. Interested in your guys' takeaways.
Well, do I start with the positive or do I start with the negative for Ohio State?
Normally you want to start positive.
Yeah.
You want to warm them up first, and then you go in.
Well, I played on the defensive side of the ball, so I'll stick with what I know, and it's the Ohio State defense, and it's still a problem in the back end of their defense. They're giving up explosive plays, which is something we've seen them do all year, and they're getting schemed up as well, which is something we've seen. Now, it's compounded by the fact that they didn't have a sack in the game, and Purdue's offense is meant for the ball to come out quickly, but the pass rush has to get there in order to help the secondary out. Now you're coming up toward the end of the year, and you're going to face some offenses that can move the ball again, Michigan State and Michigan both. So it'll be really curious to see what the answers are for Ohio State after that.
Yeah, so let's talk about complementary football, right? They've got Michigan State and Michigan left. So if we start with the offense, we've been talking about Wisconsin's defense and Purdue's defense and their offenses complementing their defenses. Let's do it the other way around. How many points does Ohio State have to score against Michigan State and Ohio State to cover a defense that hasn't been playing really well? That's probably what's going to come down to, right? How explosive is Michigan State on offense? How can the Ohio State defense hold them at bay? And the same thing about Michigan. They're going to have to win it offensively, it looks like.
On Monday, I talked about Stroud saying that he was working the short side of the field a lot. This week, and obviously I haven't watched the game film yet, but when I'm watching the game, he was seeing the entire field and working the entire field. So that's a positive, and that also means that this offensive line was giving him times to not just look at his first, second, and even go to the third if he needed to. When he gets in a rhythm, he's really tough to defend as far as being a passer is concerned. And then they got the running game really rolling today. And, it becomes a lot easier for this team to put up those explosive plays.
Jump in real quick. I was surprised by how Ohio State was able to move the ball so easily on Purdue's defense, because that was a unit that was playing really, really well up to this point. So they got to have some answers coming out of this game, too.
I mean, they were 16th in the nation in scoring defense, and Purdue gave up or Ohio State, I should say, tied a school record for their most ever first-half points in a Big Ten game. Against the 16th scoring defense in the country, a defense we've been singing the praises of all year for their dramatic improvement. So give credit where it's due. That offense was phenomenal. Number 7, Michigan State trying to bounce back from its loss last week. Mel Tucker and company hosting Maryland. Opening drive. How about a flea flicker?
Yeah, why not?
We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 of those.
Have we 4 times this year they have scored a touchdown off a flea flicker by Torrey Foster on the receiving end there. Michigan State on top 7-0. How about Thorne to Jaden Reed?
Nice catch.
Over the shoulder.
I mean, you cannot throw it better.
We watched the game the same way, Josh. Well, that's good.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, honestly.
Leah Tungavailoa down to the Maryland 4-yard line. 45 yards there for Leah. Maryland in the red zone and able to capitalize. Penny Boone.
I see you, Penny.
4-yard touchdown run. Maryland within 13-7.
Watch your boot.
Thorne, Connor Hayward.
That's our guy.
That's my guy. Or our guy now. Our guy.
You know what? There's
the whole group.
2 of you and 2 of me. We got to separate this thing.
Hello, there's 2 other people here. He's not our guy either.
No.
Just you 2.
Look at Jaden Reed. I mean, you can't defend that.
No, you can't.
He's very good.
But you have to be able to catch it, and he can.
I want my own Hayward.
It's really something. 114 receiving yards for him. We haven't even mentioned the Heisman candidate yet. Kenneth Walker takes it in the end zone, 27-7. Tungavailoa, Chigozie Okonkwo. At 112 receiving yards, couple touchdowns. Terps down 27-14 at the half. Tungavailoa picked off. Noah Harvey. Huge defensive play for Michigan State. Looked like Maryland might be getting a little momentum back, and on the ensuing drive, it is Thorne to Reed. High school teammates hooking up again.
So they've run this play once or twice.
It's possible.
7-on-7, working out in the summer.
You don't know if they had that route in
I do know.
high school. No, you don't know.
Everybody has that route, Jerry.
Oh, you know. You're a linebacker.
I've seen it
Okonkwo
again. And I would know.
Yeah, sure.
That's a nice elevation.
A heck of a move. Guys, Tungavailoa, 350 passing yards in this game.
It's a pretty good day.
I could have told you that.
Not
Anyone would have known he'd go over 349.5. Tungavailoa called for intentional grounding there, backing the Terps up, and what was a 3rd and goal becomes a missed 40-yard field goal, and Mike Loxley, not much you can do about that. Now Kenneth Walker.
Downhill.
Ooh,
Shake.
we're talking about him now.
Put his foot in the ground.
We're just waiting.
Shake.
143 rushing yards, his 7th 100-yard game this season. Takes it in for the touchdown here. Michigan State wins it 40-21. Here's Brooke Fletcher with the victorious Spartans.
Coach, after that tough loss on the road last week, how nice is it to come in here tonight and get this win here at home?
It was good. It was big for us. I love the way our staff, the way our players responded to last week's loss, and we did what we had to do this week to prepare for this game, and the players played as hard as they could today.
The rushing game usually is what leads this offense, but we saw a lot from the passing game here tonight. What impressed you from your offense here?
Well, we can do it all. We can run it. We have good balance. We have good receivers. Our quarterback does a great job. Offensive line does a great job. We're a balanced offense, and we can attack people in all different types of ways.
Usually the rushing game usually drives this offense, but we saw a lot from the passing game here tonight. What was clicking between you and your playmakers?
Yeah, it all works together. I thought, it always starts up front. Offensive line played well today. Ken did his thing, and Jordan Simmons did his thing. We had a few running backs in there today. Harold did a good job, and our receivers did a good job getting open. They knew what they were going against, and they did a good job.
Another one of those playmakers, Jaden Reed, your longtime friend. You found him in the end zone a couple times tonight. How nice was that to get him a couple TDs?
That was good. He ran good routes, good calls by coach, good execution up front to give me time, and then he made a couple nice catches, so it was good.
He did indeed. He has a tendency to make some nice catches. Fourth straight win over Maryland for Michigan State, and kind of got things right after a disappointing performance a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty good on offense. Obviously, you saw some of the clips there, and just the connection between the quarterback and the different wide receivers that were getting the ball, I think, stands out. But Kenneth Walker also, like, it's almost like we forget what he's doing because it's not a 200-yard performance. It's only 143 yards and a couple of touchdowns. It is boring, but he delivers every single game, and it's what we've come to expect out of him.
Yeah, I think the goal for Coach Tucker was businesslike. It doesn't have to be emotional. You know, let's just rebound because they got Ohio State and Penn State coming up, and they're going to need all kinds of juice for those two.
They're going to need the juice.
If he won with a flat team but a businesslike, that was fine, and I think that's what we watched.
Well, he's going to need the juice, particularly on the defensive side of football. Offensively, they look like they have found their groove. Thorne had an unbelievable day-to-day. The one interception was a Hail Mary at the end, so you can accept that. But defensively, they've got to start to crank it up.
Ohio State versus Michigan State probably took the over.
Yardage and everything in that one.
The ball's going to be chucked around a little bit. Again, this was a Michigan State team that came into today last in the nation in terms of passing yards allowed per game, and 350 in this game probably doesn't help that number much. Again, though, get the win, 9-1 on the year heading into those two critical games here down the stretch. Minnesota and Iowa. First career start for Alex Padilla in the battle for Floyd of Rosedale. Tanner Morgan getting set for the Gophers. Pick this one up early in the second quarter. Padilla looking long, and Charlie Jones.
Come on, Charlie.
The transfer from Buffalo, former walk-on, laying out, making a beautiful catch. And that sets up Padilla from a yard out. And Iowa on top, 10-3. But back come the Gophers. Cole Kramer, co-capped on a fourth down. Rumbles into the end zone, and Minnesota ties it up at 10. To the third quarter we go. Iowa down by 3. It is Padilla to Jones again.
Wow. Might want to cover.
Look at Charlie. What's the thought?
Finish.
Over 100 receiving yards for him, a career high at Iowa on top, 17-13. Now to the fourth, it's 17-16. Padilla to Keegan Johnson.
Had a tackle.
He is good. Padilla, 11 of 24, 208 yards and the 2 touchdowns. Iowa on top, 24-16. But Minnesota would not go away. It is Morgan to Chris Ottman-Bell. 68-yard touchdown. So now Minnesota within 2. They obviously go for 2. Morgan looking for Ottman-Bell, but Dayton Belton
Got to get out there.
getting a paw on it. PJ Fleckbaum at Minnesota. Still down by 2. A second and 10. Tanner Morgan waning seconds. Can't get rid of it. Joe Evans gets to him, and that ends the game as Iowa captures Floyd of Rosedale for the 7th straight time, their longest streak in this series. Here's Rick Pizzo with the Hawkeyes.
Kirk, what a football game, the kind that I think gives us both gray hair, more probably you from coaching from the sidelines, but the pig stays here. What does it mean for you guys once again to win a rivalry game like this?
They're all big. Any rivalry game's big, any conference game's big, and the other part of it, they don't come easy, and this is certainly an example of that.
You told me at the half you guys had to do a better job against the run, especially with that stretch play. You did. What kind of adjustments did you make?
I don't know if it's necessarily, we did a couple tweaks, but the biggest thing is getting off blocks better and just being a little bit more aggressive with our tackling. We didn't do a great job, and they did. So just really proud of our defense. They really bowed up and played a hell of a second half.
Obviously, this keeps you alive in the race for the Big Ten West. What's the post-game message to your team?
Swear to God, I'm only thinking about it. We just want to win our 8th game. That's, you get one chance to do it, and just so happy. And now, we got another tough one next week.
I heard you talking, I believe it was to Tyrone Tracy, after that touchdown. There were some questions about the arm strength of Alex Padilla, but I think you said, man, he threw a really good deep ball.
Yeah, there's no question in our eyes. Alex Padilla is a great kid, great player, and he threw a great ball right on the money, right where only I could get it.
All right, before I let you go, what's it like for an offensive player have to watch on the sidelines that last 55 seconds?
It's tough. It's tough to sit on the sideline knowing you can't really do much but just cheer on the defense. We got a great defense, a lot of good guys, and it's a lot of fun to be out here.
Awesome performance today. Congrats, Charlie.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I know Mark Rosen asked me in my radio show last week about how last week wasn't very entertaining. I wouldn't consider this non-entertaining now. I thought it was a very entertaining game. Unfortunately, we came up on the short end of it, had every opportunity to win the football game. That's two really good football teams. And unfortunately, like I said, we ended up on the losing side. So, but you got to give Iowa and Coach Ferentz and his team a lot of credit. It's an incredible atmosphere. This is what Big Ten football is like in November, and I told our team I'm really proud of them.
Minnesota outgained Iowa by 132 yards. They possessed the ball for more than 40 minutes, Howard, and that's their formula. And yet couldn't win the game.
Exactly. You look at the numbers and you're scratching your head because they lost this game. But it came down to this Iowa football team making those critical plays at the end or really throughout the game when they really needed to. And Minnesota just couldn't finish this game. And it's unfortunate, but Iowa showed a lot of resolve in this game.
Minnesota had some chances in the red zone that they couldn't make touchdowns. They had to make field goals, which is unusual because usually a running team is good in the red zone. It's certainly better than a passing team. And so that hurt them. And then, again, the pass game, and everything was better, as you say, Rev. The time of possession was better than last week. The yards rushing was better than last week. But when they had to make plays in the pass game because the clock was ticking, they had long drives, they couldn't. And it's just part of who they are. They're a running team, and if they have to rely on the pass at the end of the game, it's really hard for them to do that.
It's interesting you say that because we've talked about ad nauseum this year this idea that when you don't have to do things or when you choose not to do things in your game plan early on in the year, it hurts you toward the end of the year. That's the pass game for Minnesota because there were some opportunities with some inaccuracies that really hurt them. The other thing that really hurt was pass pro. They just weren't good in protection. And part of that is just seeing the looks in real time in game situations. And so if you're Minnesota, it's back to the drawing board a little bit on that aspect. And like you said, things were better, but they just weren't good enough.
Second straight loss for them on the heels of a 4-game win streak. And they were really in the driver's seat in the Big Ten West at the beginning of play a week ago and now have dug themselves a major hole at 4-3 in conference play. Everyone now chasing Wisconsin because the Badgers controlled their own destiny in the Big Ten West and made very short work of Northwestern on this Saturday. Wildcats actually had a chance to take the lead early, but Andrew Marty picked off by Caesar Williams. Third pick of the year for him, second in as many weeks. Marty threw 3 interceptions in the game. Braylon Allen was unstoppable.
Grown man.
Indeed.
Teenager.
Grown 17-year-old man.
Wow. Let's call him a grown teenager.
There you go. 6th straight 100-yard rushing game. Graham Mertz looked very good. 18 of 23, 216 yards. It's Danny Davis there. Then finds Jake Ferguson here. Wisconsin pretty much could do whatever they wanted offensively and had a field day on defense as well. They forced 4 turnovers. Marty picked off there by John Torchio. And then that led to Allen bouncing off defenders.
Oh, boy. Like ping pong.
173 rushing yards for him. A 6th straight 100-yard rushing game. First Wisconsin freshman to do that since Anthony Davis as the Badgers win big.
All right, Coach, 6th win in a row. What's been the key to this turnaround and keeping the momentum going each week?
Well, it's just being into each week, being in the moment and appreciate the guys, the way they approach just each opportunity. And that's the way to make the most of it is just being into it. And you've got great leadership and guys enjoy playing with each other, playing for each other. And it's, you appreciate what happened today, and you want to enjoy the win and then come back and lock into next week.
On Thursday, you lose your leading rusher. Braylon Allen steps up. The freshman running back comes up big once again. What can you say about his progression this season?
Yeah, it's been awesome, and he's, certainly you feel terrible for Ches, and was having a heck of a season and meant a lot to this team. And, Braylon had been going, and those two have been playing off each other really well, and Braylon knew that what this team needed, and it needed him, and it's been fun to see his progression, certainly.
I told Ches at the beginning of the week I was going to finish the season for the both of us, so I took it upon myself to make sure I was extra ready and extra prepared for this week and going forward.
Do you feel like your offense is feeding off the defense that's been dominating all season long, but over the last 6 games, specifically the running game, you guys have just been off the charts?
Yeah, I think we finally just came together and finally getting back to our brand of football, which is smash mouth running the ball. Even when they know we're going to run the ball, we still are doing it effectively. Just kind of come together and, like you said, feeding off the defense a little bit, knowing that they're going to get the job done whether we score or not. But just trying to do our job the best we can.
Thanks to Telly Hughes getting the post-game reaction there. 6th straight win for Wisconsin. They are now the only team in the West that controls its own destiny, 5-2. Remember, they have the tiebreaker against Iowa, so the Hawkeyes need to hope that Wisconsin stumbles somewhere along the way. They've got Nebraska and Minnesota still left on the schedule. But again, it is Wisconsin. It feels like it is in the driver's seat right now, and they are really rolling, fellas. This is a team that has figured it out.
Yes, and their offense has really come together, and it was something that was a problem for them early on this year. The run game really wasn't meshing. They went for 268 today, and then you look at the pass game, and it's really been the last few performances, but specifically against Rutgers and then against Northwestern. Graham Mertz has done a really good job of pushing the ball down the field and taking care of the football. Now, gets a little bit more difficult. You got Nebraska coming up, way better defense that they're going to face, but it's the momentum and the confidence that they've built so far on that side of the ball.
Yeah, Mertz 78% pass completion today, I think, was impressive. Yeah, I think one of the best compliments you can give to a coach is that he is maximizing the resources, the personnel. And I think Paul Chryst deserves that. He is getting the most out of this team. He was patient when they weren't very good, and they are playing sky high, and Coach Chryst deserves a lot of credit.
Well, you can talk about the coaching staff being patient, but how about this defense that's been playing at an unbelievable level, and the offense couldn't help them at all, but they will put up these performances, and now the offense is getting there. It really speaks to the type of people that are in that locker room, and that's a real football team up there because they're going to fight for each other, and they believe in what's coming from the front of the room.
Oh, they have now forced 16 turnovers in the last 4 games.
You asked Chanel that this week. Yes. About the defense watching the offense struggle, and he said, we just go about our business. It was really cool.
Yeah, they have gone about it indeed. I mentioned 16 turnovers last 4 weeks. Remember, they forced 2 in the first 6 weeks of the season, so they have really, or 4, I should say, in the first 6 weeks, have really turned things around. Meanwhile, Northwestern guys knocked out of bowl contention 1 year after playing for the Big Ten championship. Rutgers and Indiana, this kind of set the tone for the Hoosiers' day. This is their first play from scrimmage.
Not good.
No, suboptimal.
If you're Indiana.
Yeah, very good
normally when you do that.
Yeah, there's always 2 sides to the coin. Isaiah Pacheco takes it in for the touchdown. Rutgers on top 7-0, and that, it turned out, was all the points they would need, but they got more. 17-0 in favor of the Scarlet Knights. Jack Tuttle picked off by Max Melton. Indiana had 6 turnovers, most in a game this century. You see Tuttle goes down with an injury. Third quarter, Rutgers trying to capitalize off another Indiana turnover. Aaron Young takes it in. It's 24-3. And then how about this? Noah Vedral to Raekwon O'Neal.
It's really the play of the day. Big man on the loose, stretch out, dive!
I'd second that.
Rutgers wins it 38-3. Elise Menaker got the post-game reaction.
What did you learn about your team today?
Well, I knew this about our team. They got a lot of guts, and they really want to do it right. We're learning how. We're building something, and, when you build, it kind of goes like this. But I think they exhibited what's inside of them, and we just need to build on it now.
Raekwon, it was your moment. Take me through your touchdown.
Oh, man.
Well, I got to thank my guys up front for blocking for me. I couldn't do it without them. And, you know, it was a call that we made, and Coach Lucy made a great call, and I just had to go out there and execute it.
I saw your reaction. You knew when you got in the end zone that was a touchdown. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I knew it. My guys knew it. I was out there go play ball.
What was the feeling when you got back to your sideline? Because I know you were excited, they were excited.
It was a great feeling, you know, especially with my teammates coming, all of us together, even the defensive guys, not just offensive guys, the whole team, including staff, was just right there congratulating me.
That's an all-time soundbite.
I'm telling you.
That is great. The offensive lineman giving credit to the guys up front. Guys, how about Rutgers? This was a historic win for Rutgers. Yep. This is their largest margin of victory ever in a Big Ten game. It's also their largest margin of victory in a conference road game ever in the many conferences that they have been in. Yeah. So that's awfully impressive.
Yeah, it's big time.
Big time performance.
It's big time, and you heard the coach talk about it and mention when you're building, there are going to be some ups and downs. This was one of those games that they should be able to go out and win, and they went out and did it dramatically, and it really continues to show that the program is headed in the right direction.
Right, and Pat Hobbs scheduling those 3 non-conference games, the athletic director, letting Greg be 3-0, and then Rutgers loses to Northwestern, which was a matchup opponent, but they beat Illinois and they beat Indiana. I mean, Greg Schiano just gets it. He knows the games that you put all your energy, all your emotions into, and they play hard against the matchup opponents.
And they play complementary football, and it's something that we don't see other teams play. They go out there, defense causes a lot of issues for a young quarterback for Indiana. They're able to capitalize with turnovers. The offense is playing on a short field. They're able to punch in the scores. That's how you win football.
I know you didn't mean this, but they play hard every time they step on the field.
Yes, you're right. No,
every time they step on the field.
You're right.
Well, 5 wins for them, most since 2014. Again, 2 opportunities to get that 6th, go to a bowl game. Meanwhile, just a season to forget, unfortunately, for the Hoosiers. 6 straight losses now, a team that started the year ranked for the first time in more than a half a century now, 0-7 in the Big Ten.